Hi, I'm Tom. This is Lucy, and this is Kitty Help Desk. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about choosing a cat for adoption. Mainly what I want to talk about today is the difference between choosing a kitten and choosing an adult or a senior cat. A lot of people gravitate towards kittens, and it's clear why. I mean, kittens are adorable. Kittens are full of energy, and every kitten is lovable, really. There's not a kitten that's become jaded and hates people. There are feral kittens that don't like people, but when you get to adoptable cats, most kittens are just, every person they see, they're interested in them, right? And so they make you feel good, and they're cute, and you can hold them in your hand, and they don't cause any problems. That really is sort of the key. At first, they don't seem to cause any problems. That's not to say that kitten care is trouble-free, because kittens demand a lot of sort of continuous attention. And if you get a kitten at too early a stage in life, perhaps they've been weaned too early, kind of mentioned this in other videos, there is the possibility that if you had to bottle feed a kitten, that kitten could actually end up having some behavioral issues later on. Really, the biggest difference, in my opinion, between choosing a kitten and an adult cat is that with an adult cat, you really see a fully developed personality. Now, that may not come out in an adoption situation early on, but if you spend some alone time with a cat, you can get some sense of sort of how gregarious that cat is, and you can get some sense of what their sort of mood is like and what their personality is like. You get to see the cat fully developed, I guess is what I'm saying. Whereas a kitten is a kitten, right? Like every kitten is. There are shy kittens, and there are kittens that are more gregarious than others. Cats inherit their degree of gregariousness from the father. But since the father isn't really around, we really can't judge a lot based on that when they're babies. So, when you go in and you're looking at kittens, pretty much all the kittens look attractive, look like they'd be a lot of fun. Even the shy kittens, in a lot of cases, people will feel a little bit sorry for them and want to adopt them. Whereas a sort of a jaded adult cat can be a turnoff for some people, and some people will look at that cat and not give them a second chance. But I'd encourage you to not just go to the shelter or the rescue one time. I would encourage you to go several times and look beyond just the outward appearance of the cat. A lot of people make their choice of pets based on their appearance. And I would encourage you to make your choice more based on their personality and what you can learn about their personality early on. And going back several times to see the cat and sort of evaluate whether they might be a good match for you, I think is a good idea, because even an adult cat, let's say the cat's 5 years old, you could still have that cat for 10 or 15 years easily. So this is a long-term commitment, not unlike a human relationship. You wouldn't just go out with just anybody. You want to pick somebody that you think you're going to be compatible with. And the same goes for cats. You really should try to find a cat that suits your lifestyle. So, the ASPCA did a thing called felinality. And I'll put a link to it down below. I don't know if they're still doing this or not, but it used to be this sort of color coding where they would evaluate each cat on a number of different traits. Shelter workers would evaluate them, and then they would give them sort of a label, one of 9 sort of broad personalities. Things like the executive was one of them. It was, a cat that just wants to be on time and everything has to run as scheduled, and they want to see what you're doing all the time. And, that sort of model for what they are. And then there's like the party animal was one of them, the cat that just wants to run around and have fun all the time. So having that knowledge early on is really helpful. If the rescue doesn't really color code the cats, you can often find someone that works there that knows the cats well. And a lot of times they're not the adoption coordinator that you're talking to. So sometimes you may have to dig a little bit. A lot of adoption coordinators that I've run into are really of a mind of, we need to move these animals out. You have to really sort of relate to that on a certain level because they've got limited space in their rescue or the shelter, and there's only room for so many cats. And if the cats don't get adopted, it's a perpetual motion engine of more coming in all the time. And if others aren't going out, you can't accept more into their place. And so that's fewer cats you can help. And so, the mindset becomes one of let's move them out, let's move them out, let's move them out. And oftentimes that's detrimental because, let's be honest, there's nothing more tragic than going through the whole process of adopting a cat out and then they come back because the people are like, I can't live with this cat. This cat's tearing up my furniture, or this cat is meowing too much, or this cat is blah, 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 whatever it is, And those are genuine concerns. I'm not dismissing those people's opinions about what that cat is doing, but the problem is, again, evaluating a cat on the surface as opposed to their personality. And that personality is really going to shine in an adult cat if you can get them to come out of their shell in a private room where you get to play with them for a few minutes and give them some treats, where those treats will actually help them kind of relax and not be so frightened all the time, because cats generally are afraid of change and they are afraid of new people. There are some cats that are super gregarious and like everybody, but it depends on their early socialization. So I just ask you to give these adults a chance, especially the senior cats. I have a really soft spot in my heart for seniors because they often get overlooked. And I just can't imagine anything worse than this cat who is starting to not feel so great all the time, just like us. We get older, we're not as energetic, we're not as vivacious, we maybe have some aches and pains here and there. And to be stuck in cat jail, all alone and not have a family, it just makes me a little sad. And I think that those cats make some of the best pets ever. Now, it's important to acknowledge that they may have some healthcare costs associated with them. That's true. So if you can't afford that, then you certainly shouldn't adopt a senior. But if you can afford it, I really think that senior cats, they're often more laid back, right, Lucy? And they often have just as much to give as a younger cat. And they're going to love you as much as a younger cat, maybe even more, because they've seen it all. And you know what you're going to get. You get exactly what they're putting out when you go in to adopt one. So I encourage you to open your mind to the variety of possibilities and not just look at kittens when you're really interested in adopting a cat. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.